Hey guys, just want to number how many people were at the Parasites and Pathogen workshop. Wait, so we have some people who kind of have a background already of what I might talk about here. So I'm Morgan, I'm from SUNY Oneonta, and I work in our fish parasite lab. This is about a survey that we've been doing long-term in our lab and for my thesis and other thesis projects we've been working on. So, as you might have known, fish can serve as hosts for parasites. And if you think parasite, like think of your intestine, they can cause some damage there. But at the same time, in some cases, it's been studied that parasites can also help fish, especially in cases when it comes to heavy metals and pollutants, where they absorb those instead of the fish absorbing the heavy metals. And one of the types of parasites that does this are the Acanthocephalans. They are the thorny-headed worms, and they live in the intestines of fish. And that's a picture of the proboscis, or thorny head, of one of them. All right. So I'm specifically looking at a family of Acanthocephalans, the family Neoechinorhynchid. There are 159 species of 18 genera worldwide. And just to give you a little idea, these are the 18 genera. These are all the proboscides of each genera, and as you can see, they all look a little different. And of the 18 genera, this is where their species are distributed, with 46 between Canada and the United States, 10 in Mexico, and 4 in Canada. And in North America, we have 10 of the genera. And of the 10, there are 9 in the United States. So for each of these 9, we went to type localities of them and essentially looked for the parasite to see if we could find it there. These type localities were where the parasites were first originally described, and that's the survey work. We also found 3 new species that have been described in our lab, 1 published, 1 in review, and 1 in preparation to be published. So, back to this slide. Some key features of this family. The trunk has no spines on it. There are some other families that the trunk will have spines to help parasite attach in the intestine. There are hypodermal nuclei, they're giant, and there's a few of them. For this family, there's 5 known in the literature. If I can, they're all kind of right here. I don't know if the people in the back can see them. I think people up front here can see them decently. But they're there, I promise. There's a central cement gland, which essentially means there's 1 cement gland, and it has giant nuclei within it. And that's a drawing that I did for one of those species that is being described in our lab. And that's the cement gland itself, and those are the nuclei in it. And as I said before, the proboscis has hooks, and it has relatively few hooks in this family. There's limited studies utilizing DNA sequence data. And in studies that do utilize DNA sequence data, there's evidence of paraphyly in the genus Neoechinorhynchid. And essentially that would be genus Neoechinorhynchid. There's another genus that is nesting within a clade of Neoechinorhynchid species. So the scope of this current study is to conduct an analysis of the 10 North American genera of the family, collect representatives at type localities, conduct a phylogenetic analysis of North American genera of Neoechinorhynchidae, and the morphological study, examine patterns of hook morphology among the genera. So overall is to better understand the relationships among Neoechinorhynchid genera and patterns of hook evolution for the identification purposes. And this talk today is going to specifically focus on the survey work that we did to collect all of these. So we're going to start with 1 genus. And you're going to see why I'm going to start with this one in a few minutes here. Well, the one genus, Neoechinorhynchid, is very common and diverse, and as I said before, it was paraphyletic. There's 131 species worldwide of Neoechinorhynchid, and the process is 3 rows of 6 hooks each. The definitive host is fish and turtles, and they're highly diverse in the suckers, which the suckers host 15 out of the 28 United States species. So, sampling Neoechinorhynchid. Some of our successes here at their type localities was Neoechinorhynchid puckneri in Mississippi, Neoechinorhynchid carinatus in Mississippi, Neoechinorhynchid crassus in Michigan, Neoechinorhynchid prolixoides in New Hampshire, Neoechinorhynchid prolixus in Oklahoma, and Neoechinorhynchid rostrata in New Hampshire. So, out of all of these, we obtained 6 species from their type locality. Some of our failures, which to indicate failure is we found the fish host, but did not find any of the parasites inside the fish host we looked at, include Neoechinorhynchid australis from Mississippi, Neoechinorhynchid distractus from Mississippi, Neoechinorhynchid strigosus from Tennessee, and Neoechinorhynchid spongiatus from Michigan. So 4 were not collected at all. Now there were cases where we did find Neoechinorhynchid species elsewhere other than their type locality, and these included Neoechinorhynchid carpinoti from Erie, Pennsylvania, about 60 kilometers from the type locality, Neoechinorhynchid cylindratus, which we found in New York State, including Otsego Lake and Mill Pond, Nebraska and Connecticut, and Neoechinorhynchid doryphorus in the Everglades, Florida, about 200 kilometers east of the type locality, and Neoechinorhynchid lami from Oneida Lake, New York, about 750 kilometers from the type locality, and Neoechinorhynchid tenalis from New York, including Oneida Lake and the Susquehanna River. So we have 5 species of Neoechinorhynchid collected from other locations. So I'm going to hop into the other genera that we surveyed as well. I'm going to start with Acanthospinifer. The type locality of Acanthospinifer is Douglas Lake, Michigan, and the type host is the white sucker. There are 4 species worldwide, and 2 occur in North America. So out of 21 white sucker from the type locality, there were no infections of Acanthospinifer massilenus. But we also collected Acanthospinifer elsewhere in New York State. As you can tell, there are a few locations in New York State. Some notables I'll point out is Oneida Lake, Otsego Lake and its tributaries, Goodyear Lake and Candarega Lake. And some other states that we also collected Acanthospinifer from were New Hampshire and Virginia. So we did not collect it at the type locality, but we did collect it elsewhere in New York State and other states. Acanthospiniferoides, the type locality is East Bay, Texas. The type host is the Gulf killifish. There are 2 species worldwide and 1 occurs in North America. We looked at 14 of the Gulf killifish and had no infections in Texas. Later on, in a survey done in South Florida, we looked at 6 species of Cyprinodontids, and we found that Ambusia holbrooki, the eastern mosquito fish, we looked at 153 of them, 22 were infected with Acanthospiniferoides chanibri. So the type host has been said in literature that it's not the normal host. So we didn't collect it from the type locality because of this. But also said in literature, in the redescription, the proper host for this parasite is eastern mosquito fish. So we obtained it from the location of the redescription and from its redescription host. Bacillocentys, the type locality is the Illinois River in Havana, Illinois. And the type host is the gizzard shad. There is 1 species worldwide, and it only occurs in North America. We also had a seasonal pattern of infection noted, with it being absent in the summer months. We looked at 83 gizzard shad at the type locality, and 26 were infected with Bacillus, and we also looked at 30 gizzard shad at an additional locality nearby at the 21 Nature Preserve, and 12 were infected with Bacillus. So we did obtain Bacillus. Acanthocephalans, same type locality, same host, and there's one species worldwide, and it only occurs in North America. Same thing, we looked at 83 gizzard shad at the type locality, and only one was infected with Acanthocephalans longrostris. And then we looked at the additional 30 from Emmaquan, and 16 were infected with Acanthocephalans longrostris. We also looked at 24 gizzard shad from Oneida Lake, and 6 were infected with Acanthocephalans longrostris. This indicates a new state record of this species. So we obtained Acanthocephalans from the type locality and 2 additional localities, including the new state. Acanthocephalans' type locality is Galveston Bay, Texas. The type host is the sheep's head minnow. There are 2 species worldwide, and 1 occurs in North America. We looked at 34 of the type hosts, and 6 were infected with Acanthocephalans ferocundus, and 31 of the type hosts nearby in the Bolivar Peninsula, and 8 were infected. We also collected this parasite from Frenulus grandis, the Gulf killifish, and it has previously been collected in Mississippi on another trip, and that indicates a new state record also. So we collected Acanthocephalans ferocundus. Florian. The type locality is Biscayne Bay, Florida, and the type host is the flathead gray mullet. There are 2 species worldwide, and 1 occurs in North America. 4 mullet were looked at from Harvard Beach, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, about 60 kilometers north of the type locality, and 3 were infected with Floriocentis elongatus. Floriocentis elongatus was also collected from North Carolina, indicating a new state record. So we got Floriocentis. Paulocentis, the type locality is Wayne County, Ohio. In the original description, there wasn't exactly a specific water body they gave us, so we went to 2 localities there. And the type host is the creek chub, and there are 2 species worldwide, and both occur in North America. So, Paulocentis, we looked at 19 creek chub from Apple Creek at Grosse Jean Park in Wooster, Ohio, and none were infected. 47 creek chub were looked at from Killbuck Creek in northwest of Wooster, Ohio, and 2 were infected, noting that these 2 infections were 1 parasite each. So we did obtain from the type locality. Eocolis, the type locality is the Ohio River at Shoaltown, Illinois, and the type host is bluegill. There are 2 species worldwide, and both occur in North America. For Eocolis arcanus, we looked at 318 centorchids in southern Illinois from several water bodies within 100 kilometers of the type locality, including the type locality. 184 of the type host, the bluegill, were looked at, along with some of its congeners there. And we also looked at black crappie, white crappie, and 6 hybrids of the 2. So, 318 fish. You would think we'd find something, but there was nothing in those 318 fish. We also previously examined black crappie and white crappie the previous year in Illinois, and there were infections. So in summary, 13 of the 21 species were targeted at their type localities were obtained, and 5 of the 8 were not obtained at their type localities, but they were obtained elsewhere. And 3 were not collected at all. So what we're getting from this is seasonality matters. There are some parasites that have a seasonality. If you don't go during that right time of the year, you're not going to see them in high numbers. So we're looking for them. And some species might be extirpated located at their type localities. Like, in question right now is the Opolis. Where are you? We don't know. So I just want to end this on environmental change can also be a huge factor on why we might not have seen Eopolis arcanus at its type locality. With that, I'd like to acknowledge the Theodore Roosevelt Memorial Fund at the American Museum of Natural History, the Acanthocephalians Society of Washington's Bernadette Freed Student Research Grant, and the 21Neoechinorhynchid Research Foundation Holloway Scientific Award, and the Antonio Student Travel Fund. And this would not have been possible with all the people who helped with survey work. A big chunk of them are actually sitting